Welcome back to Talkville. You know what this is. It's a rewatch podcast. And we're delighted. This is a big episode. We've done season 4. Ryan, Tom, congratulations. We've gotten through it. And we're in for a little treat, I think, today. I want to thank all of you for sticking around, tuning in, and most importantly, supporting this podcast. Patreon.com/Talkville. If you want to join, you get to be a guest. I mean, it's random, but top tiers. You get your name shouted out. You support the podcast, and hopefully we'll be back for season 5. But I want to thank you very much. And if you didn't get a chance to call our hotline, call in way ahead of time. All that's in the show description, and you can go to our handles, write a review. It really helps move us up on the charts. So write a review. By the way, I never tell you to do that, but if you write a review, it really does wonders for the show and the algorithms. So do that. You can go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum on my link tree to see when the cons are, cameos, Smallville con coming in October. Make sure you're there, and tons of other stuff. Talkvillepodcast.com and Inside You Online store for tons of cool merch. Check out both sites. And without further ado, welcome Tom, welcome Ryan. Let's get into season 4, episode 22, Commencement. Aired May 18th, 2005. Director, of course, our favorite, Greg Beeman. Huge props to him on this episode. Writers Todd Slavkin and Darren Swimmer knocked it out of the park, I think. Guest star Jane Seymour as Genevieve Teague. Terrence Stamp as the voice of Jerome. Anthony Harrison as head astronomer. A meteor shower threatens to ravage the town of Smallville for a second time, forcing Clark to fulfill his destiny to save the ones he loves. And we begin with a recap of the season, which Tom and Ryan loved, highlighting every major character's search for the stones of knowledge. Our episode opens with Lana arriving home to the Talon Loft, finding Genevieve waiting in the shadows. She plays dumb to having the stone, but immediately coughs it up when Genevieve whips out a gat. Lana attempts to pull some crouching tiger moves to disarm Genevieve. However, the posh British lady is able to hold her own. That is, until a purple twinkle comes over Lana, causing Isabel to take control over the body. She mounts Genevieve, grabs the stone, and stabs her in the freaking chest, thus fulfilling the prophecy that Genevieve warned us about. As her tramp stamp disappears, we see Lex standing in the doorway observing the crime scene. First Lana murder of the series. No chance this holds up in court. Take a beat to reflect on the storyline and it finally coming to an end. I am certainly glad it's coming to an end. The storyline, it did nothing for me, but upset me through most of the season. But I have to say that to me, this episode started out really slow. And I was kind of going, oh my gosh, we're like, because you could watch it if you're a patron or Patreon. I don't know how that works, but we filmed this and it's for the patrons. So we filmed our Zoom of watching the episode. And I was a little bit kind of like, oh my God, please, and then things started to take off. Is it weird for me to say I don't want it to end? But certainly it was a slow start. But yes, this storyline for me. Didn't you want it to end, Ryan? Tom?
Hi, we're here too.
Tom, didn't you want it to end?
Yeah. I don't think I wanted it to end. I wanted to see if it was going anywhere. And it showed me sides of Lana that I thought were interesting. I saw her sort of moving past just pining over Clark and all that stuff. So I that's where I see the positive in it.
All right. That night, back on the farm, Clark gets woken up as all the lights flicker and he sees the Aurora Borealis outside. However, this was just a dream as we see Jonathan and Martha rushing to his side after hearing their teenage son yell, "It's coming!" Jeez, I don't know if that's what they wanted to hear in his sleep. Yeah. Immediately after this, we see meteors making their way towards Earth and a 24-like countdown clock begin, which Tom loved, 24. Lex brings Lana back over to the mansion to wash her sins away, but instead of using the restroom or maybe her apartment, they find a bowl in the middle of the office, and Lana starts to panic, and Lex talks her out of going to the cops while neglecting to share what happened to Jason. This is the first thing right away that upset us all, and we were joking about it. I'm like, why is she... So he takes her bloody hands, and she sits in the car. Imagine the reality of this.
Don't Lana, don't touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch anything. Don't let it drip. Together. And then we'll wash your hands in a little tiny metal bowl when we get back to the mansion. Who thought of that?
I think it's because they didn't want to light another room. that and play it off as
How
the
about
mansion.
just have her hands clean? You don't have to wash anything. We would have known she washed her hands off.
The other thing that would have been kind of cool, and the timing of the episode is off, but if Lex sees it and all of a sudden he goes into action, Lana, come here. I know how to do this. Come over here. Wash your hands. Da-da-da. We're doing this. He's like cleanup man. All right, now we got to go. Get back to the mansion. I would have liked to seen that action.
I would have just like he's there and then boom, she's at the mansion sitting down and all of it's taken care of. You didn't need to shoot any of that shit. I didn't need to see her wiping her hands. Back on the farm, Lois makes her way downstairs to join the rest of the Kents around the kitchen table. She shares nightmares about a guy with a red cape, which was just completely stupid, and lets them know she's leaving to hunt down her sister in Europe. Yeah, I mean, I had this dream about a guy in a cape. I mean, if you couldn't be more on the nose if she went over to Clark and whispered it in his ear. I mean, what is that?
I don't know.
It didn't bother you?
It bumped. I mean, it was a little like, oh, I get it. Move on, please.
It was mostly just that.
Yeah. Well, so far I'm still going, okay. And it gets better for me. Hopefully for all of us. Based on Al saying he wasn't sure how long they'd get Lois laying on the show, was this a possible excuse to write her off, huh? I don't know.
Could have been.
Wow.
After Lex receives a message from his security, he heads back to the town. He's shocked to find the room cleaned after the murder and finds his father waiting in the shadows. Lots of people waiting in the shadows so far in this episode. Lionel makes jokes about Genevieve's heart and attempts to barter Lana's freedom in turn for the stone. Lex tells his father, leave her alone, and Lionel warns him not to let his feelings get in the way.
Again, this is what I love about John Glover. This scene makes no sense that his character would be there. He makes it make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
That's a good way to put John Glover. I like it. He makes it make sense.
He makes you okay with things that are seem implausible.
Yeah. After we get a scene where NASA picks up on the meteors headed straight towards Earth, we see Lois helping Clark get ready for his graduation ceremony. They discuss their potential futures in journalism, and Lois compliments Clark before landing the right jab on her way out. Tom, do you remember this punching scene at all?
I don't, other than the fact that I credit her for having, completed all these tasks that were asked of her when Clark just stands there the whole time.
I will say this, Tom. NASA. Why do we have to make everything goofy? Like this guy's just doodling. Why don't we have them just, they're doing work and they see this happen out of nowhere?
What happens when you're watching a satellite? Like if your job is to sit there and...
That's his job.
If your job is to... Are you going to be watching it intently, or is like nothing... For the most part, nothing is moving out there in space. So he's going to have like a comic book like at the ready because he's just looking at tiny little...
This one guy who's in charge.
Because for the most part, nothing's happening.
Fine. We cut to Smallville High as we see brand new principal handing out diplomas. Clark and Chloe notice Lana is missing and start to get concerned. The ceremony gets interrupted by military vehicles as they roll onto the field, demanding that everyone remain calm. And this is when it starts getting a little interesting. Soldiers charge the crowd with rifles. We hear warnings of another meteor shower just mere hours away from hitting Smallville. As Clark tries to reckon with what could be attracting the shower, Chloe begins to geek out over the cosmic coincidence of 2 meteor showers in 16 years. I would have liked people to be a little more reactionary as to this is a lot of people died before at this other one, meteor shower. Let's play it real here. Let's try to...
It's also kind of funny that we just assume everyone in the town is at the graduation. Like they brought a lot of military just to that one field.
We're here for the graduation.
Like 100 people.
Well, if you had to calculate...
And by the way, and they're all like, stay calm. As they yell at everybody.
As they drive on the field and almost plow people over with their military vehicles.
Just doing donuts on the lawn.
Clark sends away Lois and Chloe and returns home after unsuccessfully searching for Lana. His parents try convincing him that this is not his fault, but Clark doesn't believe it, so he heads out for the ship key to make his way into the caves. And Lex pops in and interrupts Clark, offering a private jet escape out of Smallville, and totally notices him pocketing the key, or does he? Lex is adamant that Clark evacuates so that he, as well, does not go bald.
Also, can I just throw this out there? Lex is in no hurry here. He's telling everybody else they got to get to the plane. And He's as calm as a cucumber.
I think maybe
Really,
because
come
he's
on.
got like a safe place to go, or he knows he can get away, or he's not as worried because most people have to drive. And I thought that too. He was a little calm, but Clark makes his way into the caves. He puts the key in the slot. He begins communicating with Jor-El, who lets him know that the meteor shower is a consequence of Clark denying his quest to unite the three stones. What's more, as Clark fails to unite the three stones, and he as well will be killed by the meteor shower. Dad of the week goes to Jor-El. So Jor-El wants Clark to unite the stones so that he can have knowledge of the universe, and by Clark neglecting to do so, his punishment is death.
What is knowledge of the universe?
45 minutes left. Clark tells his parents his plans to find the other stones. Martha and Jonathan fear that him staying will be his death and reluctantly accept his decision, showing faith in their son. A lot of great emotional performance in this episode from the main cast. That's what really got the episode, in a good place. Clark heads back into the barn, and his search for the stones is made that much easier when he finds Lana, who just hands him one out of the blue because it's meant for him. She asks for his blind trust in this moment and tells him she loves him before planning a final kiss goodbye. Theoretically, Lana has just given Clark a murder weapon and is setting him up.
I don't know. She didn't wash it either.
A bloody key.
What Lana should have said is, I honestly don't trust anyone but you. You're the only person I trust, and I wanted to give this to you to hold on to. Not that,
hey,
it's meant for him, because then that opens up a whole can of worms. Like, does she know something that it just was too much? You didn't need to say
Maybe
that.
they wanted to open that.
Isn't the rationale also, hey, remember when you asked me not to ask questions? I'm asking you not to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Take this bloody rock.
And shove it. Shove it, man. Lana heads back to the Luthor mansion to continue her goodbye tour. Lex, who still hasn't left town, interrupts her call and asks for the stone. Under the guise of hiding a murder weapon, Lex tries to get her to fork it over, but she denies. With only 19 minutes left to spare, likely not enough time to make it out of town and get obliterated by the shower, the Kents get stopped by Jason Teague. And by the way, I love how they're just piling up grandfather clocks and get out of town.
Yeah.
They look like the Beverly Hillbillies loading up their truck. Everybody's loading up all their crap. You got no time? The hell?
Do you guys, Ryan and Bryce, do you guys think that Michael's version of Smallville would have ever lasted more than, would the pilot have been picked up? I'm not sure, because...
Yes. The pilot would have been picked up. Sure. I mean, look, there's great episodes that make me go, this is a great show. And then there are moments where I'm like, how do these things get overlooked? That's all I'm saying.
I agree. Jonathan Kent should have been like, leave the clock. We got to go. Like, keep the ticking bomb going.
Keep the ticking bomb going. Keep the energy. We don't need anything. None of this matters. All that matters is our lives. Chloe, don't load up your truck. Get out of town. Meteors are coming. Everybody. Chloe, I know you're excited about this moment in 16 years, and it's so fascinating, but we're all going to die. Just keep the intensity going. That's what I want.
Maybe it plays into the story. Like the Kents were so busy loading the grandfather clock that they're stuck on the farm, and that allows Jason to get there. Instead of them leaving immediately after.
Jason's bloody, bruised, and having a bad day. He cocks a shotgun and asks where Clark is. But it's going to get good. It's going to get good here.
I kind of liked how Jensen was playing this, though.
Yeah, Jensen did a great job.
Like whether he was playing like his earlier, like just in love with Lana guy, like both versions of his acting worked for me. I just kind of wish they would have picked one.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to shoot Shelby, but then he shot the window.
Yeah. They would
truck.
never shoot a dog on Smallville. Jeez, that would devastate me.
All right. While the rest of the town is trying to evacuate through a one-lane highway, Clois. Let's run with it. Clois turn around and head towards Luthor Mansion after hearing Lex on Lana's goodbye call. After a soldier tells him they can't go back, Lois hops out and distracts him long enough for Chloe to sneak by. You have some issues here.
Don't let that go. Talkville is brought to you by Policygenius. Policygenius helps you compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process. Life insurance policies are so important. Sometimes with work, If you pass away, you don't know if it's complicated. You need a good life insurance policy. You need to protect the people you love. And you have a family, Tom. And
Yep. Well, yes, I have a family. It gives me peace of mind. It gives them peace of mind. You also have a family around you that, you got to think about too. Like, what are you going to do with all this cool stuff?
It's true. I just think it's like the last thing you want to think of when something happens, God forbid, is, oh, now we have to take it. We don't have the insurance or we don't have this.
Yeah.
It's so good to know that you're covered, you're taken care of. It's a peace of mind. It is so freaking important. I love what these people do at Policygenius. And some things to think about. Your life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. It may not come with you if you leave your job. And Policygenius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance.
Well, they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs.
Yeah, it's silly not to think of a good life insurance policy, and Policygenius is there for you. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. She's tugging on this guy. He's a military soldier, and she keeps pulling him. I'm the general's daughter. I don't give a high hell who you are. Get back in your car, or I'm going to put you in cuffs. No, don't look over there. Tugging on this guy with a weapon. And it kept going. This moment was so incredulous, that I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, oh, you remember me talking about it when we were watching? Why is she doing this? We're all laughing. Whoa, she keeps doing it.
I feel bad for the actor playing the soldier because he's probably like, this is ridiculous. I would just take her down and zip tie her right now.
He was like a rag doll.
Yeah.
He was like Dumbo.
I think this could have been like one of those situations where she faked like a medical situation, like, oh, my heart, and like fell into just went the other way, and then Chloe ran. Yeah, they milked it.
They milked the hell out of it. This is just a bad overlook.
Clark heads into the secret cave room to place the second stone into its place. While doing so, Lex meets with his father and accuses him of harboring the third stone. Lionel denies having it, but right when Clark does his thing, it causes the stone in Lionel's pocket to emit light and inflict a sort of seizure. Lex tries to retrieve it, but is sent flying across the room. This is the first Lex knockout of the episode.
Yes.
More to come. When he comes to, Lex orders his father's lifeless body out of the room. The remaining stone begins sending a piercing signal to Clark's ears, allowing him to pinpoint it inside Luthor Mansion. Clark wastes no time and shows no concern for discretion as he rips open a safe door and goes to steal the stone. He almost makes it out if it weren't for that meddling kryptonite that Lex booby-trapped the room with.
Why did Lex... So Lex stole the stuff from China or whatever? He stole that thing that...
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's almost like he suspects it having some impact on Clark, right? He brought it home.
How did he get it home? Remember all these people were after him and he just put it on his jet? All right, go ahead. I'll let go.
Well, listen, remember in Onyx, he figured out that there was a version of kryptonite that affected Clark, and maybe there's some residue in Lex's brain about maybe some of these rocks having effect.
I'll let it go.
Yeah. All right, with 5 minutes to spare, Jason goes on to psychotically rant about the stones and Clark's involvement, asking the Kents what their son knows about them. Martha tries to reason with Jason about his mother, but he believes that by finding them, he will finally be making her happy.
This also took a little too long.
Yeah, it went on. It didn't need to go on that long.
Yeah. Back at Luthor Mansion, Lex ushers Lana onto her escape helicopter. He makes a final plea to get the stone, and Lana admits that she gave it away. Lex blows up on her, ripping through her belongings, and Lana finally realizes that he was never concerned about her safety. He has a sudden change of heart, and before he can plant a kiss, the pilot says they need to go.
I like that. I was surprised by how aggressive I was with her.
Yeah.
And he kind of lost it. And it was just right. It was just like a moment of this intensity. Like, I don't have time for this bullshit. It was cool.
Do you have any recollection of ADRing every single line of this with the helicopter next to it? Because there's no way they got the sound.
I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask. Like,
I think they shot it with the helicopters not with the blade off a lot of the dialogue.
But there's all this wind. Like that's got to be.
Well, they
coming from
added a
somewhere.
wind, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure I ADR'd it.
But I mean, that's got like if it's not a helicopter, it's like a leaf blower. That's still
I
making
always
noise.
I hate that but sometimes you could help your performance, and I didn't think it altered the performance so in a negative way. So I'm sure I ADR'd it, but I didn't mind. Inside the mansion, Chloe stammers and looking for Lana. Luckily, she finds Clark comatose and gripping a stone. She drags him to safety, which allows him to regain enough strength to super speed away before Lex can notice. I like that. So at this point, Clark has to know for sure that Chloe knows. And after seeing that stone is missing, Lex is at his wit's end and aggressively grabs Chloe, which is kind of cool, questioning her about what she knows. She asks for a ride out of town, but Lex demands that she stay and accompany him in finding the stones. And at this point, why does Lex want 3 stones? What's his whole motivation for even getting them? For Lionel, it made sense because he wanted to cure his liver or something, but I can't remember why Lex is so hell-bent on these things, enough to risk his own life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember any motivation. Like in the pilot, he goes to Egypt, right? But I don't even know why he wants them in the first place.
Maybe it's because he knows it has something to do with the caves, and that if he can get these 3 stones, the answers lie within that. So that's all I can think of, which makes somewhat sense, doesn't it?
I mean, I will say, like, at this point, for performance-wise, you turn on the Onyx. This is where you crank up your Onyx persona, and it was fun to watch.
But it's also warranted.
Yes.
It's not like it's out of the blue. It's like he is mad for a reason.
I think Tom and I both liked the moment where you walked away and like you wiped your mouth or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like, I was like, oh, shit, he's mad.
He's mad. Lex is mad.
He's not happy.
Lex is
He's not happy.
From one kidnapping to the other, we see the Kents distracting Jason long enough for Jonathan to break free from his chair. Martha and he start kicking Jason's ass, and the Kents' kitchen turns into ECW.
What's that?
The wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Also, like, let me just plug this real quick. We watched this together and we put it on the Patreon for a watch. And there's so much more commentary that, we get into in that, which is great. And one of the things I will say is when Jonathan and Martha are taking over Jason, one of the things that made me more mad than anything else is the fact that somebody's messing with Mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me so mad that they were messing with Martha.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off.
Yeah. The fighting is stopped once the meteor shower officially begins, and we see the season 1 level of animation shower rain down on Smallville. This is accompanied with one of the coolest stunts to date as we see a flaming gas truck rolling down the road whose driver bails out before it blows. Along with this, we get reverse footage of the same meteor shower that Clark dreams of a few episodes back in Scare. On his way home, Clark stops by the convent. And look, this is awesome. Once the meteors come, I'm in. I'm freaking in. I'm like, this is cool.
And we don't know what happens after the one hits the Kent's house. So we don't get
Yeah.
That one remains a mystery.
Yeah, that's a mystery. On his way home, Clark stops by the convoy out to save a kid who is about to get demolished by oncoming meteors. I love this moment. He supersedes him away to safety and uses his body to shield the flames. That was a really wonderful moment. It was very a la Pilot of Smallville with the little kid kind of coming out of the ship.
The kid did a good job too. He's just kind of like making his way through all the people. Like
the kid was great. The dad's reaction was great. Your reaction, it was just a really nice moment. Came out of the blue and worked. In the skies, we see Lana Lang doing crazy air maneuvers inside the helicopter to avoid falling rocks. The pilot is unsuccessful, however, as they get clipped and crash into a field. And as the town gets massacred, we see Clark taking his sweet time in the caves as he places the 3rd stone amongst the other 2, thus finally completing his quest. Talk about procrastination.
I think this is where they get into the 24 thing with the ticking clock because the episode needed that help. One of the things that I always did with Clark was you always have to be aware of the ticking clock, the pace. You gotta, and there's a lot of action in this episode, but not a lot of pacing, if that makes any sense.
I think directorially it was great, but those transitions, sometimes there's so many transitions that you really have to know where you're coming from. And all you had to do was him running into the cave, and that added the energy. And that was missed. But, I still was okay.
Just outside the room, we see Lex and Chloe arguing about whether or not Clark had anything to do with the missing stone. Chloe defends her friend until suddenly a burst of light illuminates the hidden room to avoid.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite moments in the history of this series. When Chloe says, "Look out, Lex. It might be dangerous." And
then shoves him into the wall.
Knocks him into the cave wall and gives him a... I loved it.
That was great.
It's so not Smallville, but it was so great.
It was great. And it's really the first time Lex and Chloe have had any kind of heated conversation in all these years.
Yeah.
It was an intense, he's aggressive with her the first time they're really talking. And it's crazy.
Yeah, to avoid Lex finding it, Chloe shoves Lex against the rocks. She then walks around the corner to see Clark grasping the melded crystal of knowledge.
So the other thing I was like, Lex and Chloe are having this exchange, and they're like, where's Clark? It turns out he's right around the corner, like right around those rocks. He's right there.
Did you hear him? I think he just came in.
Where's Clark? Did you hear that music cue? That's where Clark is.
Yeah. See the light?
All right, as Clark grabs the crystal of knowledge, we see Lionel lying down, getting a download of random Kryptonian symbols. And another burst of energy sends Chloe and Lex flying. When all settles, Clark is suddenly in some mysterious, snowy environment. And this is now the second Lex knockout of the episode. Tom, stories from what was apparently Whistler, Canada?
Yes, we go to Whistler, Canada. This was probably one of my favorite shooting days. It might have been 2 days. I think it was just one. I think we got up there and we shot the next day. But we had 3 helicopters going. One was two film helicopters, and one was a transport helicopter. And so what they would do is we would get in the helicopters, they'd fly us out to the glacier. And they're like yelling, and you're like stepping out onto, the skids of the helicopter. And they're saying, we don't know how deep it is, because they're talking over the rotors, but just jump and try not to mess up the snow. And I'm like, okay.
Dude.
Sure.
What? Dude.
And you can't see the snow because it's the light and everything else. And I have a walkie-talkie in my pocket that I hide behind the jacket. And I just sort of I'm hanging from the helicopter skid, and I let go, and I drop down that deep, and I'm like, okay. And then the helicopter bolts off. And what then happens is complete silence. And then you realize it's really hot on this glacier. Like, I'm sweating in this jacket. It's not cold at all. And the walkie-talkie is going off. All right, stand by. We're going to do a pass. Just pretend the helicopter's not there and look off in a distance. And this helicopter's way closer than you want it to come to your head, even though it's and you're just doing, and then they come and pick you up, and you got to climb up on they won't land the helicopter on the snow.
It was just kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is the height of WB, right? So you guys are some of the WB's most valuable actors, and they're doing shit like this.
Bryce, in retrospect, I remember exactly what Tom said. They gave me these moccasins. Is that what you call them? The boots, the snow boots, the big long wooden ones. Anyway, they gave me these snow boots that you put your boot, and they dropped me on snowshoes. They dropped me
Sorels or something.
Yeah, they dropped me on this glacier.
They didn't give me those.
They dropped me on this glacier, and I wasn't thinking, how deep is this? Am I going to sink right in? But again, they dropped me on this mountain and left me. And they just said, walk, and we're going to film you. And I should have been like, can somebody go out there and see if they sink into some giant 1,000 high up
crevasse? What if I take a step and I fall through something? I could have. Yeah, there's no one out there.
And another thing is, Tom's favorite story is we're all at base camp, and there's these helicopters, and for some reason...
It was at lunch, and all the 3 helicopters were both all 3 of them were landed in a row.
Yeah, they're in a row.
Everybody's
and nobody's in
break.
them. The snowmobile, for some reason, the guy gets off it. It just keeps going. It goes, and it's going right for all 3, or for the helicopter. It's about to smash into the helicopter. And I don't know what got into me. I just started running. And
He's the only person who got up and started running in knee-high snow.
And I jumped on the snowmobile and steered it away from the helicopters at the last second. And everybody clapped, and then I realized what an idiot I was.
With your healthy back and everything.
It was crazy. And they have that on footage. Someone was filming it.
I filmed it.
Yeah, you
took off running, and you know what I did is I just started videotaping. I have it. And the scariest thing is, as you met the snowmobile that was about to hit the helicopter, if you hadn't stopped it, and it was within 2 feet, you would have exploded. I think.
I mean, it was going pretty fast. It was going pretty fast, and somehow I caught up to it. I mean, who knows what would have happened, but anyway, they owe me. Surprisingly enough, based on their track record, Lois did not get in a car accident during the shower. We see her pull Chloe's bug to the side of the road and observe the carnage that has befallen Smallville again. Nearby, Lana wakes up from the rubble of the crash and sees her second dead body of this episode. The pilot, unable to walk. That was really cool. She drags herself to safety and in doing so finds a spaceship that has crashed, landed amongst the meteors. Potentially a new love interest for Lana. Back on Hoth, we see Clark throw the crystal of knowledge in a state of confusion, and the episode ends with to be continued. Thoughts of this episode, the culmination of the Stones of Power. We talked about that. Clark fulfilling his destiny reluctantly. It all came together, and it was believable enough that I let it go, and I enjoyed the ride. And the second half of this episode I thought was terrific. It really paid off, and I had a lot of fun, and I forgot about all the stuff that I was hating in the beginning. We didn't see Jason die. How do you think they'll write him off? I know the meteor's coming there, so who knows? I don't remember. I don't want to remember. I want to see it when I see it. And who do you think is in that spaceship? I'm guessing it's not good people.
I'll tell you right now, the first thing I thought was General Zod, but I don't know if that makes any sense. There's probably a million people who know who's in there, but I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Interesting things of note. The ending scene is very similar to how in Superman, the movie, a young Clark throws the Kryptonian crystal into the Arctic, where it forms his Fortress of Solitude. On its original airing, the episode filled a 90-minute time slot, with the last 10 minutes featuring an exclusive 10-minute preview of the movie Batman Begins.
Whoa.
According to the message from Alan Miles, this was the most expensive episode since the pilot. The episode received the 2005 Emmy nomination for Outstanding Editing for a Series.
Sound editing.
Wow.
One of the graduates mentioned at the ceremony is Holly Harold. I told you about that when we were watching it, who has written 9 episodes of Smallville. To save time on repeat airings, Jason's kidnapping scenes with the Kents were cut.
Oh, there was another interesting thing about what we were watching.
What?
The guy who was the tech at NASA.
Quez.
Yeah.
Quez was the videographer and was always on set. I loved Quez. He was a great guy. And it was a joy to see him. This show is sponsored by Betterhelp. You know, Tom, this year has flown by. I can't believe we're already almost halfway through it. I mean, it's honestly astonishing. And when life goes fast, when it goes so fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins and make adjustments for the rest of the year. Therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months. Therapy is so helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Therapy truly is for everyone. If you're thinking of starting therapy, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge.
Take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville.
Our lovable top tier patron who gets to come on the show, patreon.com/talkville. We love him. This is all random how Rice picks him, believe me. So I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And Garrett W., welcome to the show.
That's me.
How excited are you that you come? We're talking to you for the commencement finale episode.
I am stoked because it's like a movie first off, but second, it's like it truly is like a pivot point of Smallville. I mean, we're kind of leaving high school behind and getting beyond that into the world of Smallville. So it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty stoked.
Were you sad they were leaving high school?
Not so much. I mean, now as an adult, when I was watching it for the first time, yeah, it was cool being in high school because I could relate to that. But yeah, not super sad.
See, Ryan and Michael and I all couldn't wait to get out of high school. So the melancholy of it all didn't land with us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Were you glad that Forever wasn't the series finale, the episode before this?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a Freak of the Week episode. Like they're like, hey, we're getting to the end of all these story arcs. And they're like, one more time. Let's get one more in there before we leave high school. But he was kind of collecting everybody.
Also, now that we're talking about it, it's so funny. Like man, it's so sad that high school is over and what do we have to look forward to? Cut to meteor shower, our graduation day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you think of that last episode, like halfway through, it's like, oh, this is going swimmingly. This is great. And then boom, army comes in. There's helicopters flying around. Meteors are coming to Smallville again, and everyone's freaking out.
You have a original Superman poster behind you. I have one that's behind Ryan right now. The only difference is I have Gene Hackman's autograph on there.
Ooh, that's so cool. Well, I got all your autographs on here. I was lucky enough to meet y'all last year for the first time, and doing this a year later is awesome.
Come to New Jersey for the Smallville Con.
Oh, I'm planning to, for sure.
Where did we see you for all those signatures? Do you recall?
Yeah, C2E2. So I got to meet you two. Yeah, Erica and Kristen, and then I got to meet John too. That was pretty awesome.
I love it. Hey, Garrett W., why did you get into Smallville? What made you fall in love with the show?
I started as a huge Christopher Reeve fan watching the Superman movies. So that's, why I'm a big fan. I would rent them from the library, all the 4 Superman movies, and just watch them religiously. And then when Smallville came around, I was like, holy crap, this is like his origin, basically. And so I started out right when it was coming on, when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I think as a 9-year-old watching syndicated television, I fell out of it, of course. But then I got back in when I was about 13, caught all the way up, and then, watched weekly from then on. And it's one of my favorite shows because, you just resonate so much with characters and Clark and Lex. I think of them when they start out in the show, they're just so unsure and afraid of the future. And then, as the series progresses, they start falling into who they're going to be. And I think growing up with the show, you can relate to that. I don't know what I'm doing. All these things are coming at me as a young adolescent. I don't know what the world's like. And so I think you can kind of relate with Clark and Lex in that regard, not superpowers and all that. But
what was your favorite episode? And also what's your favorite part of this episode?
My favorite episode, it was hard. I had to narrow it down to 3. The 100th episode is pretty huge, like this one. I don't want to spoil it. And then I love Lexmas because that's we're so used to Clark and Lex kind of not getting along. And that was kind of nice to have them get along again before they never do again, basically. And then the season 7 finale, Arctic, was pretty epic as well.
You know what? I love Lexmas. My only problem with Lexmas is, we'll get to that down the road, is they shouldn't have called it Lexmas. It cheapens how good the episode was. They should have called it something else.
Yeah.
Something simple.
Just something else?
Yeah, or just else. Another life.
Yeah.
Or something. Not Lexmas. It just sounds like a cheese ball.
It's a wonderful Lex.
It's a wonderful Lex.
Wonderful Lex. That's perfect.
Lexmas Vacation.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, my favorite scene from Commencement, got it. What really sticks with me, I got to narrow it down to 2. I can't just pick one. But when Clark saves the kid from the meteor, I mean, that stays in the opening credits for pretty much the rest of the show. And then when he throws the crystal at the end in the Arctic, I'm like, what, the last time a Clark Kent threw a crystal in the Arctic? Something pretty cool happened. So
I agree. I love that they went that big, and we talk in this podcast, you'll see that how big this production value was when we went up to Whistler and shot that. And we had 3 helicopters. It was just epic, and it was so wide open, and it just opened up the world to the viewers and the characters. It was a whole new space. I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you watch Smallville alone? Was it something just that you appreciated by yourself, or did you appreciate it with other people you were watching with?
It started out just me, and then I got my brother into it, and then I got my fiance into it a lot later in life. But it was, we started seeing each other, and I was like, I gotta let you know, Smallville's my favorite show. You should probably watch it. And then she got hooked. So yeah, my brother and my fiance, we're all pretty into Smallville. So
that's amazing. What's your favorite season?
Gosh. Season 7 is pretty great.
Question.
It is a tough question. I would say season 4 is my second favorite. But yeah, season 7 is just pretty
Wait
epic.
a minute. Season 4 is
wait.
probably my least favorite season.
Oh, you said least favorite.
No. It's my least. Season 4 is my least favorite.
Oh, really?
Supposedly 5 is good.
5's great.
Alan Miles, the creators of the show, say that their favorite season is 5. But this should not, have anything to do with what you say. But
Yeah.
season 4 was really hit or miss.
Yeah.
There was a couple episodes where if we weren't doing this podcast, if I was a viewer, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to watch next week. And then I
would have to slice part of the stories in half because the stuff you do with Lois or Erica, that's great. But, maybe the Isabel Thoreau storyline, there's so much of that thrown in that maybe if that was kind of trimmed out a little bit, it would be a little more smooth. But
you know what I think? It'd be cool if some Smallville fan had the time and took all the seasons and made it into a 4-hour movie.
Oh, yeah.
You just cut it where it was just you cut all the Freak of the Weeks and just the storyline, the good storyline that brought us from the beginning to the end, and then just put it together in a 4-hour movie. I think that would be freaking phenomenal.
Bryce, I know you're in on this. Do you have any time to do that?
They did that with Star Wars. In fact, my buddy Topher Grace kind of did something like that where he condensed all the movies because the prequels were crap. And he kind of he cut the prequels together where it was just an 80-minute movie.
I think we have to reach out to Sports Center. Those guys know how to cut things together and make those really dramatic. Yeah, let's get them on this.
Brought to you by Gatorade.
Yeah, I will say in the complete series set, there is a documentary series that kind of does that a little bit. It's 10 minutes a season. It kind of covers the highlights. Yeah, check it out when you get there.
We should just be doing that.
But it's got a lot of behind the scenes
save us
stuff.
a lot of time, Garrett.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett, we are so honored to have you here, and we really appreciate your undying support and your love for the show and your support on Patreon. And you guys are the reason why we keep doing this. And we also enjoy it and enjoy our interaction with you guys. And it's fun to have Ryan here and just, have him sort of seeing it, feeling it through his eyes, seeing it through his eyes and what he's experiencing as an adult. It's just, because sometimes I could see wow, he really likes an episode. And then I could see sometimes he's like, what the hell is going on?
Well, and he's here for science.
Yeah. But thanks for being on here.
Of course.
Garrett, you're a delight. Thanks for being here, brother.
Yeah, this is my pleasure. This is so awesome, guys. Dream come true.
Now it's time for the hotline, folks. We're going to go to our video patron privilege, Heather and Greg, who we adore. Let's just get into it. Heather and Greg, how the hell are you?
Hi, guys. This is Heather and Greg from North Carolina. Our question is about the epic season finale, Commencement.
So when asked to evacuate, the kids loaded everything into the truck, including the dining room furniture.
So our question is, if you had to evacuate an oncoming meteor shower, besides your family and your pets, what would you pack up?
I'd get the hell out of there. I'd probably get my dogs and load up my truck and probably take a few articles of clothing and some cash and get the F out of Dodge.
Just go. Just go. Take some pictures. Take your passports.
Ryan?
I don't know if they can send passports.
If a guitar would have to come with.
Yeah, I'd have to take a guitar for sure. I would take a guitar. All right, here we go. Here's Michael
But I have
P.
to pick one.
Paragon.
That'd be terrible.
Hey, it's Michael P. from Texas. Tom, in the episode Commencement, we see Clark talking to Jarrell in a room that I affectionately call the wind tunnel, which we've seen a few times now. Do you have any behind-the-scenes memories that you can recall about filming these particular scenes? Thanks.
I do. I mentioned in the podcast that I really enjoyed these scenes because they were just you were shouting and there was wind and it was just you could only listen to what somebody else was feeding you lines. It was, it was very, there was a lot of energy in those. I like them, but you had to pace yourself because you could ruin your voice. If you had a quiet scene after that, that would be bad schedule.
Yeah. You always did a great job with those. I was impressed. Here's Naomi. Let's see what Naomi says.
Hi, this is your patron, Naomi A. And they talk about the stones, how Jason and his mom trying to get the stones, but it doesn't say really what they were going to do with the stones. So do y'all know what they was going to do with the stones?
No, no, Naomi, we don't.
Perfect.
A reason
You
why
nailed it.
just none of that storyline, no one gives a crap because they don't know what they want to do with the stones. What's Lionel going to do with the stones? Maybe Lex is going to do something with the stones, but I think they're all stoned.
They just go, we got to get the stones. We're like, yeah,
Briar?
totally.
Yeah. We just need to get them.
But it's also so childish because everybody wants the stones because somebody else wants the stones.
Yeah.
Like, it's like children.
Yeah, it is.
Hi, this is Briar from Knoxville, Tennessee. This is more of an observation than a question, but I thought it was really cool how many parallels there were between this episode and the season 1 finale. For example, both of them have a natural disaster. Both of them have a school event where Lana is conspicuously missing. Both of them have Lex and Lionel getting into a fight. But my personal favorite parallel between the two was having someone help Clark with his tie. In the season 1 finale, you had Lex helping him, and in the season 4 finale, you had Lois. I just thought it was neat. Thanks.
Well, one thing Clark should learn how to do in the real world
Yeah,
is
tie a
his
tie.
own goddamn tie.
Thanks, Briar.
Hello, this is Brian from Brownwood, Texas. At the beginning, we see Lana and Genevieve fight in the apartment. Lana stabs Genevieve with the stone. The tattoo goes away. Thus, the line is ended because that's the curse. Everybody who's in that line is dead. Curse is lifted. There you go. However, Jason shows up later on in the episode. So my thinking is, why did the writers have the tattoo go away if Jason was alive? So I think the tattoo not going away would have added an extra level of suspense for the audience.
Jason didn't have that information. He talks about how he doesn't know where his mom is.
The whole prophecy was that the one family is going to kill the other. And supposedly when the tattoo goes away, it's like, oh, it's fulfilled because the Teagues are dead, but Jason's still alive. So it's not fulfilled. So it doesn't make any sense.
But Lionel takes care of that. Okay.
You're going to love this. You're going to love this question.
Hey, this is Marie from New Hampshire. Amazing ending scene of Clark in the middle of a snowy mountain paradise. Was all of that real or was that green screen? Much love. Thanks.
It was real. For the love of God, that would have been the best green screen ever.
Hey, Michael and Tom. This is John from Santa Clara, California. During the actual graduation ceremony, the trees are all bare, and this makes sense. Everything's filmed in advance, but just wondering if you noticed that it's supposed to be June, but it's clearly the winter. Anyway, thanks. Love the podcast. Bye.
You're right. It's June, and there's trees.
And they were getting rained on, too.
Yeah, we're getting rain. I saw Tom's sprinkled shirt. They couldn't escape that. And they just said, hell with it. Let's go.
I mean, you have to with the weather.
Well, Clark has this aura around him, apparently.
Yeah, it was 1 inch, 1 centimeter aura. Rosenbaum rating system. Rose and Baum rating system. We're going to start out with me. We never started. And now, Rosenbaum rating. I'm going to give this a solid. It was fun. Part of me wants to give it. I'm going to give it 2 roses. I'm going to give it a solid 2 roses on this one. Because it just kept my attention. It got past, once we were past the BS, it really kicked in and kicked some ass.
I'm going to give it a 1.5 because I'm taking 0.5 off for the first half of the episode.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But I thought the rest of it was so good that
they were
forgot.
They were just getting things done and closing off their thing. But the second half was awesome.
Ryan.
2.
2 roses for Ryan. Bryce?
2.
Wow. I'm the most negative on this one.
The Smallville always crushes the first episodes and the last episodes. Those are always killer stand-up.
It would be fun to watch all the
just the first and
last episode of every season.
There's no context.
So you get 20 episodes of just death and save count, 24 dead.
Death and save count.
Lana kills Genevieve, and it's reported that 23 people died in the shower. 1 saved. Clark saves the kid. Through 22 episodes, 55 dead, 45 saved, 137 dead in a series, 148 saved. Wait until the final episode to catch up on the death count. Ryan's favorite scene.
Mm-hmm.
This should be a tough one because there's a couple.
It's kind of tough because I was sort of like the ending of the episode is like it's almost like one sequence. There's okay, so I cheated a little. There's just 2 sequences really that are the
all right,
things
so there's
for
2
me.
choices.
Yeah. So there's the meteor shower. is one thing, because that includes like it hitting the house, it includes the semi-truck, it includes Clark saving the child.
Right.
And then all the way to the helicopter crash. And then pretty much from then on, it's there's Lana discovering the
Fortress of Solitude.
The Fortress of Solitude.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Fortress of Solitude stuff, Tom.
Me too. I mean, it's so epic. It's so outside of the ordinary and so awesome you put that on any show. It looks great.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
But it really was like I think that's why the ending of the episode was so compelling, is because they really did ramp up the pace and they sort of made it all feel, and there were important moments just being stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I agree.
And they forgot about the clock.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
The thing about this episode, it was so good. The second half of it, anyway, was so good that it made me forget about a lot of the bad stuff in the season. It almost kind of made me go, all right, now I want to see what happens. I got to see what happens. It's bringing me back in. They did a great job of bringing me back in. I'm willing to do another season. It was fun. I had a lot of problems with this season. I admit I shit on the show frequently, but if you look at the episodes that I shit on, I think you could understand why. And you can understand why we all felt that way. And look, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but 22 episodes a season is more than enough to handle. And you got to throw a lot of duds out there, and some okays and some goods and some greats. And that's what happens. I wish the show could be sort of like a Lost, where most of the episodes were just really compelling and great all the time. But that is very, and you're dealing with, Superman and mythology and trying to make it interesting. And it's a difficult task. And I think that the guys ultimately gave us a lot of what we wanted as viewers. And so I will say that. That's it for the season. Stick around as we recap some of our favorite moments from season 4 and take a final tally on everything from the past 22 episodes. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. We've said it before. Oh, hang on. It's my grandmother. Let's talk to her. Blanche.
Michael, nobody has a grandson like you.
What?
You're wonderful.
Why?
Because I got those beautiful flowers again.
Well, I love you. What am I going to do?
Well, you don't know what it means to me. Thank you.
Well, I love you dearly, and I can't wait. I'm going to see you soon.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, what is it in here? It came with the flowers. It came with the flowers. Did you know?
What?
A medal, like a glass plaque with a chain and flowers on it.
Well, I thought I just sent you flowers, the tulips or whatever, and with the colorful.
Well, they're gorgeous, but this is beautiful. This emblem they sent me, I have to hang it up.
Well, I love you dearly, and you're going to be 96, and I'm going to be there in about a month, and we're going to celebrate. God. We're going to go to our favorite place, Buca di Beppo, and eat some Italian.
You so much.
I love you so much.
Oh,
thank you, darling. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
love you, Blanche.
Okay. Bye-bye, sweetheart.
Bye. I'm glad we got that on the episode.
My heart is so warm.
That was sweet.
I send her flowers like every couple of weeks. Every couple of weeks, I don't miss out because her memory's going. And it's like, I know that sending her flowers, she'll not only like them, but she'll read the card and then call me. So it makes her sort of remember me, at least for that small moment, So I leave you with that. That's a beautiful way to end the season. And we love you guys. We'll see you in season 5. Tommy, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Good job, everybody.
Remember, folks,
always hold on to small.
And now it's time for the part of the show where our top tier patrons get their names shouted out as one of the perks, as one of the fun things. Also, some patrons are on Talkville. Some get to ask questions. There's a forum. There's so many fun things to do. And thanks for joining patreon.com/Talkville. Let's read them. The top tiers.
All right.
And Leanne P., she was there last night.
Oh, yeah.
At the live event.
Raj C., Santiago M., Little Lisa, Tom Turner, Shane W, Sophie M, Betsy D, Abby P, Ray H, Harada, as Michael likes to say.
Correct.
Karen Apple M, 99 more, Lalani N, Brett G, always hold on to small S1 G, Garrett W, Bob K, Kimberly L, Tom N, Jason W, Osama A, Glenda P, Lana rhymes with banana.
Lana rhymes with banana.
She loves it.
She loves it.
She actually hates it. I've met her. She hates it.
Nancy D.
Nancy D, Brian G, Sarah W, YVR Grips, Anna M, Amanda R, Brandy S, Teddy127, Michael P, Ryan R, Jordan M, Randy B, Craig G, Jorel, Heather and Greg, I made Talkville say.
But.
Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Darth Achilles, Finky, Early is on time.
Usually.
Miss
Charles Kent.
That's an easy one.
Schlar.
Clar.
I think it's Clar. Kent.
Yeah, we'll get there, folks. Damn, who's that? Jeanette E, David, General Zod, Theodore, Nathan B, Jemin J,
Doug R, Carlos C, Tommy Z, Boston 68, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Home K, Jesse C, Claire M, D Brown, Karen Era M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Leslie V, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose. Please remember Janice from North Carolina. We won't forget you. Christoph S, hi Christoph, Michelle M, Drew, Amanda Lynn, Jessica B, Michael Kang doesn't blank. Sebastian F, Wolfie, Dak Flando, Steven the Grocery Checker, Matthew and Lincoln B, Breyer, Charlene A, the Coopers, Marion Louise L, CGO, Cindy C, Nikki L, Shannon Fofanen, Tina E, Matt Rick, Jen T, Randy S, Cassie B, Brad A, Felicia R, Danny, Mo Mirabelle L, JS, Mary K, Stephen A, Danger. When you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric, Rosenbaum fan, Sammy Sharman, Carrie Ann.
Patrick R, the Alexander Castle, Daryl E, Spicy Chicken, Jenny B, 76, Anna B, Monica T, Jeffrey K, Pink Kenobi, Katya C, previously on Smallville, Matt C, Depro, Saja, and Devin.
Sajal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I know.
We love you.
Chadwick B, Keith B, Major Paradox, Cook K.
Cookie.
Oh. It is
Cookie K.
Cookie K. I used to have a dog named Cooks. Yeah. The patron saint of Smallville, Libertariat. Love that horse.
Biagio C, yes.
Kellel, 38. Felicia B. Lady J. The Salty Ham. Okay. Murphy C. David L. Madison H. Mika J. Tori H. Paul the Grim G. Stephanie T. Gulter God.
No, Guitar God. Guitar God, 021.
I think I might need glasses.
JD Turkleton, Kelowna A, Z Wicked Stepdad, Joel P, Natalia, really Dr. Jacia, Red Blue Blur 8, Dr. G, and my paradoxical me. We love you guys. Thank you for listening and supporting us. And you keep putting those there when I said put it under, but it doesn't matter.
I need. I'm just thinking about now. I realize I need glasses.
Yeah, you do need glasses.
Guitar.
It's all right. We love you. Thanks for being here, Tommy.
Thanks.